Why not see the movies of your choice at home tonight? Movies on video, $2 per movie per day. Where? At the Warehouse.
You want burgers, hot dogs, some chicken, and ribs. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the sounds, the slurping sounds. Oh God, they're like in sex wise. Hi everybody, but in sex, like the slurping sounds are hot when it's happening to you, and there's all the sounds and stuff when it's all going on, right? But if you're like a bystander to it, it is disgusting. Like sitting in a movie theater and someone's getting a blowjob off to the side, and it's a relatively quiet movie, which I don't know why these fucking weirdos go into the quiet movies to do this. But I'm trying to watch this movie. Fucking fat ass over here in the corner.
Well, I'm trying to get my dick
Yeah,
sucked.
so he's getting his dick sucked, and all I hear is and I'm like, oh God. I like went and got a refund. It's the one time where I was like not okay with sex like happening.
Not during your movie.
Yeah, I was like, this dude's getting a blowjob. Anyway, oh hi there. I'm glad. Then notice you listeners just joined us.
No, they just blocked us.
They're like, oh my God, I thought I was going to listen to this really nice episode on an old video store rental movie. Welcome to Night of the Horror File, a horror movie and genre podcast where I take a horror movie or a genre film.
Really?
And yes, we've started having to say genre film now, like because we're branching off. Like we've been doing this.
Not
me,
we.
because like I'm like, well, I want to talk about this movie this week. And so we've been kind of doing that. And luckily, our listeners have been very receptive of that and have been requesting some off-the-wall shit for this Listener Request Month. I mean, the first episode of Listener Request Month was fried green tomatoes. And then we also covered Highlander. So, of course, we're making sure that when you're first tuning in, if this is your first episode, you know it might not always be a horror.
Alien.
Oh, well, Alien's not an off-the-wall request. That's a horror movie through and
Is
through.
it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Brittany wasn't scared. Oh, Mrs. Fancy Pants.
That's not what I meant by that. I didn't. I thought it was a sci-fi film, okay?
It is a sci-fi horror. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. Because what did we watch this week?
The Video Dead.
That's right, 1987's Video Dead. And Listener Request Month. We're kind of like nearing the end here. Second to last Listener Request episode. But we're taking a trip to the video store with 1987's The Video Dead. Now, this flick is part of a proud line of direct-to-video horror films. You all know these. The best direct-to-video horror films. The constantly on-hand, non-mainstream horror that often achieves cult status, such as Puppet Master, Castle Freak, Uncle Sam, Jack Frost, and a ton of other awesome flicks, including today's feature. Now, of course, instead of clunky videotapes, you have DVDs and Blu-rays, courtesy of Shout Factory nowadays, and other distributors who have lovingly restored these often hit or miss, but always fun horror films. And of course, if you're a maniac,
like you,
yes, you have these as part of a healthy streaming collection. Okay. All right. Old man Lee is about to start talking, so let's talk about video stores for a bit. By the way, for a more in-depth topic, go listen to this past Friday's Shooting the Shit only on our Patreon. So subscribe to that, and you'll be able to hear that. But
subscribe to that, and then you can hear that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. I feel like I'm constantly hawking that Patreon. We have a Patreon. You should go listen to that. I think one of the most forgotten parts of video rental stores are these fun hidden direct-to-video gems, that some are still floating around in limbo as they've remained on videotape. There's some movies you can't get off of VHS, There were so many direct-to-horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
Direct-to-video horror. The thing is, it wasn't always that we had companies like Blue Underground or Scream Factory restoring these things on Blu-ray. Streets of Rage itself, the Walter Hill movie, was relegated to VHS for years. I think the only DVD copy you could get was a Korean copy, which I recently bought just for nostalgia reasons.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm a maniac. I swear.
I agree.
Um,
I've had enough of you today. I've only been here for like 30
shit.
minutes.
But what I really love is every time one of these gets a new release. Oh, it was a hidden masterpiece. Oh, it was underrated. I remember getting made fun of for loving today's feature. It's like, that movie sucks. George A. Romero's movie's better. And I'm like, well, yeah, they are, but this is good too. That movie's trash. Yeah, it is, but it's good trash.
It's good trash.
It's good trash. But nowadays it's chic to be into bad horror. These days, the low budget stuff. It's real popular.
Chic?
Yeah.
I don't think people say that anymore.
No?
No.
Ah, shit. I've been consuming way too much John Waters stuff. Oh, Lord. You guys get ready for that next month. But that's a whole other podcast we could go into of, loving bad movies and how it's weirdly popular all of a sudden. It's kind of like superheroes. You were a fucking nerd if you worshipped superheroes back in the day.
Really?
Like, you got made fun of relentlessly for reading your comic books on the bus. But nowadays, you're fucking cool as shit. Nerds are getting laid left and right now. It's amazing. It's an amazing time to be alive, but also a little annoying to some of us hipsters. But
Are you a hipster now?
No, I don't know what the fuck I am.
Are you chic? Are you a hipster?
What am I? I'm sitting here with nail polish on and eyeliner, and I'm. Am I even a thing? I think I'm a person. I'm just Lee.
Okay.
There's no titles, but
going with the flow, huh?
But I do go on old man rants, like I just did. So
Too often.
I
don't need to listen.
Anyway, we have a fun one today. This is going to be a fun episode. So let's jump into 1987's Video Dead.
So two men bring in your dead body to the morgue and ask why his wife did this.
Oh, damn. These are great. I'm going to have to assemble like clips of these, like just a whole like menagerie of these little death scenes you've concocted.
You're going to have to die.
By the way, this is your first episode. She does one of these every time, and they're always unique. You're very creative with my deaths.
Sometimes I'm a little off.
You're just like, yeah, just shoot him in the face. Shoot him.
I mean,
fucking hate you. It's like, okay. Anyway, I also have another gripe. Okay.
Of course you do.
And that's out of print stuff. I'm out of print. It used to not be such a big deal to have an out of print DVD. Out of print DVDs are these it's where the movie companies stopped producing physical copies of the thing because either their sales slumped or it just wasn't that popular. So they just moved on to other titles.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of collectible, but not as collectible as today. Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
You have companies like Shout Factory buying up all the rights to these flicks and only make it a handful of copies when they produce their Blu-rays. Then they let them go out of print, which drives the price up. So people aren't able to fucking see these movies, in my opinion. Like, what person is right, man? Now, $30 for a DVD ain't bad. That's about the normal price. That's normal.
I know. It just
that's a normal
hurts my
for
heart
a new Blu-ray. But even then, you're kind of like, I don't want to pay $30 for Terror Vision on Blu-ray.
No, we don't.
And I get that. I understand that. But what I don't understand is letting them go out of print. Like, if you're not going to like keep making these Blu-rays, then don't do it.
Don't do it.
Like, keep them available so somebody can buy them whenever, and they don't have to resort to eBay where all the fucking crazy people are who are trying to hawk these fucking things for like $150. It's goddamn ridiculous. But
tell us how you really feel.
My thing is,
I didn't mean that for real. Just don't.
What annoys me is I think these movies need to be seen and not hoarded like gasoline or toilet paper, which I think I just dated the fuck out of this episode.
Oh, God.
That's where I do side with streaming services. You know, at least today's feature, The Video Dead, you can watch on Amazon Prime. And I understand that Amazon is the most crooked and evil company known to man. I mean, but I've been known to cavort with the devil. Their streaming service is chock full of B movies, trucker movies, direct-to-video horror, ninja fucking movies. And, well, not fucking
Ninja fucking?
Yeah, ninja fucking movies, not ninja, or fucking ninja movies. I should say fucking ninja
I think you're
movies.
confusing yourself.
Yeah, ninja fucking. That's stealthy. Where the lights go off and you just hear moans and then it's over and there's nobody there in the shot. Anyway,
Nice.
but you know, it has a shit ton of other no budget flicks that are like not easily found anywhere. So it's great. I think it's the one thing they do get right. But just try to buy a copy of this thing on Screen Factory's wonderful Blu-ray. You won't find it for anything less than $25, and they don't sell it on their website anymore.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And don't think, hey, I'll just buy a VHS copy. Fuck Blu-ray. Fuck all this streaming shit. I'm going back to VHS, which I don't know why you do that because it's terrible video quality.
Is.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's the one thing we agree on when it comes to quality. Because Brittany has always been like, I don't see the difference between DVD and Blu-ray and stuff. She doesn't see those differences. I do. And so we're always arguing about that. But when it comes to VHS or Blu-ray, you're like,
it's
yeah,
shit.
That's fine. VHS is shit. But, you know, some people might be saying, I'll do that. I'll buy the VHS copy for, get the authentic video store experience.
Yeah.
But those things are going for about $150. Could you imagine paying $150 for today's feature?
If you paid $150 for this,
$50. I've never dropped more than $40 on a movie. And I know everybody's like, you've never paid more than $40? No, I have not. Like the most expensive, the most expensive thing we own I own in our collection is that Cemetery DVD, which is going for like $175 on Amazon, but I didn't pay that.
Shit.
I got that for $14, through contacts.
Contacts.
It's fucking vintage.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I just had them order it up. But like the most expensive thing I have is the I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah.
Collection. I got that for free for reviewing it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they sent it to me. So I'm not paying more than $40 for a movie. I'm sorry.
No.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I will kick you in the dick.
Plus, I mean, yeah, it'd be great if I had unlimited money to spend on movies and shit, but like the average person doesn't.
Right.
Like, and so like, I think it's really wrong. And I think it's kind of taking advantage of people, but also it's really great that they're doing that because they're getting those movies out there more. Movies that most people wouldn't, most casual horror fans, they stick to the well-known stuff like Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the well-known stuff, and,
right.
And that's fine. There's no levels to being a horror fan. It's fine. I hate that shit. You're not a real horror fan unless you've seen Edge of the Axe. It's like, okay, calm down. I know you could afford that Blu-ray. That's awesome. Good for you, buddy. But some people can't, and they're not going to drop that much unless they know what the movie is.
Right.
Anyway. Oh, God. Okay, rant over. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and get into today's feature.
So 2 men bring a big wooden crate to Mr. Jordan's house. Mr. Jordan says that he didn't order anything. They said it's already paid for. He's like, fine, bring it in the house.
I mean, I'm doing it. If somebody's bringing a TV, which we find
he
out
didn't
what it
know
is.
it was a
well,
TV.
no, he doesn't, but that's a pretty good deal.
I don't know. If someone's bringing something
in
in a big wooden crate, yeah, I'm opening it.
Yeah,
I want to know
yeah.
what the fuck it is.
I don't even care if it's Fluffy from fucking Creepshow. I'm opening that bitch.
So he opens the box with the hammer, by the way. I mean, is there a better way?
Crowbar if you had it.
I guess. And it's a TV, as Lee says, because he ruins things.
I do ruin a lot of things.
So later on in the evening, the TV is on and playing a movie called Zombie Blood Nightmare. Mr. Jordan goes to turn it off because he didn't turn it on in the first place. and it turns itself back on.
Do you remember back in the day with these old tube TVs? Do you remember like if you like shuffled across the floor a little bit and turned the TV off, it would turn itself back on?
No.
That could happen. Like if you kind of like built up enough static electricity, you could hit the switch and it would still pop back on. So I would do that to my sisters to freak them the fuck out. Again.
Rude.
God, my family, we all just fucked with each other 24/7.
That's hilarious. Anyway, so this keeps happening, keeps turning on. So he finally just goes and unplugs it. Fast forward to the middle of the night, the TV comes on, even though it's unplugged.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now there's a like lightning coming out of the TV, and a zombie head pops up, and then more zombies.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, by the way, you see Mr. Jordan writing on a typewriter in this scene too, like because he's a writer. But that typewriter was the same typewriter they used to type up this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'll explain the absolute no budget this thing had, but they still managed to create a pretty good zombie movie. I think. Yeah, we'll talk about it as we go. But Jack Still, the man who plays the first zombie here, which this zombie's name is Jack, which, by the way, all the zombies have backstories, and they aren't in the movie, but I'll share later.
Okay. Because we need that. Okay.
Nope, but no, you're going to get it. Now, Stillman obviously had to pop his head through this TV, through a fake wall and stuff like that to get this effect to do. I mean, we've talked about this enough on the show. Y'all know how this effect is done.
Right.
Yeah. Stillman almost passed out because of the CO2 gas that was being used for the fog and had to be taken outside for air.
Great.
Now you'll notice through this movie, there's a lot of cool little animation tricks and stuff like that with lightning and a bunch of other little things and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. That was Wes Takahashi who helped with the animated effects. Now, Takahashi went on to play a pretty pivotal role with Industrial Light and Magic, who does like big budget features now, part of the Star Wars universe and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So Mr. Jordan here, though, our writer, Mr. Jordan, is played by the Greasy Strangler himself, Michael St. Michaels. Now, we'll cover Greasy Strangler at another time, so don't worry.
Greasy Strangler.
The Greasy Strangler. It's one of my favorite cult movies that came out like a few years back. It was amazing.
I'm guessing it's about a serial killer.
Yeah, it was sort of. Michael's, like a few of our cast members you'll find today, has a pretty cool backstory. At one time, he was a jet-setting hairstylist to the elite, traveling to every European hotspot there was in the 70s to keep those hairstyles prim and proper.
Wow.
I know. Now, he was in this and Ninja Academy in the 80s, but it wasn't until 2016 when he got that lead role, when he played the role of Big Ronnie, the old owner of the Disco Walking Tour, where he screams things like, "Bullshit artist."
Nice.
It's a great cult film, and I always insist not eating when you watch it, though. So be sure to check out The Greasy Strangler.
The Greasy Strangler. That sounds like I need a shower.
You will. By the end of that movie, you will need a shower.
So the next day, the delivery men come back because Mr. Jordan wasn't supposed to get that TV.
Mm-hmm.
It was meant for the Institute of the Studies of the Occult.
Which I want to go there. Like, that sounds like a good
Where
time.
is that?
I want that job because as we see, one of the guys who works there, or maybe works there, maybe he's affiliated. They don't really go into that very well.
The country guy?
Yeah, the
Texas guy?
Mr. Rogers or Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood for you to get eaten by a zombie. Or they don't actually call them zombies in this, do they? I think they call them creepers, which was the original name of the movie.
Oh, I don't think I heard them call them anything.
Yeah, they don't really refer to them as much. I think they do say creepers here time to time.
Okay.
But anyway, I want to go to the Centers for the Occult.
Anyway, he does not work for them.
He does it?
He just had that TV, and he was sending it to them.
Oh. Wow. That's even stupider.
Tell me you didn't watch the movie?
No, I watched the movie. I watched the movie. It's just I didn't really pick up on that part. I thought they had like maybe sent him out to look for it. Because I was like, why would they send this dude out to fucking look for these TVs?
Oh, I pay attention to the
I know.
words. You pay attention to the grass. I don't fucking know.
The grass. There is some nice grass shots in this movie.
What?
It's very wonderfully shot.
Anyway, so they ring the bell and no one answers. The door is kind of open, so they push it open, and Mr. Jordan is there, and he's dead. He's got a lamp tied around his neck, a cigarette in his mouth, and a birthday hat on his head. And all they do is shut the door?
Which... And the look on their face is like, oh, another one? Or like, yeah, oh, that happened. Okay, shut the door.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
We weren't here.
Not my problem. Not my pay grade. That's exactly
what that was.
Not my pay grade.
This is not my job. But so Mr. Jordan finally gets a cigarette, and they put a party hat on him, which really highlights this film's main bones. Spooky and hilarious. Now, surprisingly, filming for this flick took over a year, mostly because they shot around the cast members' available time, which were mostly weekends. It just cracks me up. This blonde guy here, who plays one of the movers, though, he was actually in a Star Trek movie, too, as an extra, The Voyage Home, I believe. But director Robert Scott said this was the first person they had ever met who had a cell phone. Yeah, in 87, at that time, cell phones were in these giant monstrosities that came in these bags that hung from your shoulder. Have you ever seen pictures of those?
Yeah.
Those are hilarious. And I love it in movies when you watch these old school movies and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Where somebody has it, and it's usually like some mobster movies mostly. And they have it slung over their shoulder like it's the highest class thing they could ever own. It's just...
I was about to say... They thought he was rich.
Oh, yeah. I would have.
Yes. I agree. So 3 months later, there is a sold sign in the yard of this house. Movers pull into the driveway, and then we see Zoe. She's taking a cab to the house. She tells the driver that this is her parents' house, but none of them have ever been there because her parents are working out of the country.
Yeah. They say traveling abroad or something. And
No, they're working in Saudi Arabia.
What are they doing in Saudi Arabia? Maybe they work for oil or something.
Well, back in the I don't know, Peace Corps.
Around 87, that mostly the oil slump was happening, I believe, around the 87. I don't know. We're not going to get into history lessons on Saudi Arabia. All we know is that her mom was not able to drive over there. That's
yes. So she gets to unpacking, and then we see what we think is a zombie walking up, because it's like walking all slow and got nasty pants and stuff. Walks into the house, and it's actually her little brother Jeff.
And this guy can barely walk or run through this movie. I don't know if you noticed that.
I noticed.
Oh, man. The taxi driver you see with Zoe, though, he plays double roles as a zombie later on. He pops up as a zombie.
Why not?
Well, yeah, why not? Because most of the actors wanted speaking roles. I mean, obviously, you're making a movie. Everybody wants a speaking role in this son of a bitch. So they did the next best thing, and they were like, okay, you can have a speaking role in this movie, Robert Scott would say, but you also have to play a zombie. You also have to play an extra because we need zombies.
Right.
So, by the way, we also discover the true villain and horror of this film. Unpacking and moving. Dear God.
Fuck, right?
Fuck packing and moving. And the whole time she's doing it, though, she's smiling the entire time. Like,
she's having a good time.
Like, I've never had a good time packing. You're sweaty. You smell like shit somehow, even though you're just moving boxes.
And I want to know, okay, this is what I want to know.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just because it wasn't a big thing back then or what, but the company that their parents work for, first of all, they paid for the house. They paid for the movers to come bring the stuff. They paid for the taxi, I'm sure. Why didn't they pay for people to come, like, move them in?
Yeah, you would think the movers would move them.
Actually, I don't think movers do that. Well, I guess you could probably pay them to do that.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
But, like, these are kids. Like, she just graduated high school.
I know. I have no idea because it's like, I guess it was more acceptable in the 80s to just let your kids hang back and do things.
I guess.
Where was her brother?
That's what I want to know, too.
Shuffling up the driveway out of nowhere.
Right. He just comes from nowhere.
They
I don't
shipped
know,
him back over from Saudi Arabia.
probably.
That's why he's shuffling. My foot's asleep.
Oh my god.
But this house actually still is here, and where they shot it in California. But the new owners, of course, put up a wall of shrubs, so you massive Video Dead fans can't go bug them. I'm sure people are clamoring to find the house that was in the Video Dead.
Is it really called Shady Lane?
No. I think this is somewhere in Southern California.
Oh, okay.
That's where I believe they said. Fuck.
It's okay.
Is it San Francisco? I don't fucking know, you guys. I don't know the exact shooting location for the Video Dead. I think I'm forgivable here.
It's okay. It's okay. So they have dinner and talk about their parents being in Saudi Arabia, and they should be back next week. And they're going to be back for good. Jeff makes a comment, and he says, yeah, now that we're grown, they're going to be around. I mean... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the perfect way to raise your children. Just fucking disappear like while they're growing up, and then come back when they're grown, and they can form sentences and thoughts. I mean, hey.
And then they can hate you more. Anyway, so Zoe tells Jeff that she's gonna start college soon, and she's gonna major in aerobics and do a minor in music videos.
So if the Video Dead teaches you anything, we learn that in the 1980s, I guess it was, you could major in aerobics and minor in music videos. You could get degrees for these things at the time. What a time to be alive.
I mean, why not? Why not?
All right. I mean, somebody's got to make the music videos in aerobics.
Somebody's got to.
We got to have degrees. I love how a lot of people obsess over 80s horror movies, a lot more than any other genre, it seems. Even the golden age of horror doesn't get the same amount of attention as these 80s horror movies do. And I'm not sure if it's like an age thing, because most of us are 30 that I've talked to that obsess. 30. Well, the ones that obsess over the era of the 80s are people like me. They like obsess over that, over 80s horror, right. But I say the 70s was the true standout period in horror and exploitation specifically. The 80s to me was just recreating what the guys and gals in the 70s were doing. You know what I mean? Like if this movie, you take this movie, for instance. I mean, this whole film is packed with references to these old movies. You can totally see the influence drawn from movies like Halloween. I mean, you can hear it in the music in this. Plus I don't know when they shot this, but you could tell they were doing something around the fall or something, because there's a lot of leaves on the ground. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Okay. What?
There's a scene, and I don't know
exactly what you're talking about.
I don't know if I put it in my notes or not, but there's a scene, and you can tell that there's people off camera fucking throwing these leaves.
Yes.
I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
But yeah, you see that in this movie. You see the influences. I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets a shout out, not once, but twice. And even Dawn of the Dead, you can see Dawn of the Dead's influence on this movie.
Yeah.
Because in Dawn of the Dead, I believe they paid more attention to making the zombies look a little different. You know what I mean?
Right.
By the way, the uniqueness in these zombies, we'll talk about that later, but I really appreciate that in this movie.
Okay.
What was that eye roll?
Oh, we'll get to it.
Okay.
Oh, we will get to it.
We will get to it.
So a man pulls up to the house and tells Jeff that his name is Mr. Daniels. He tells Jeff that there was a mix-up in packages and wants to know where that TV is. Jeff said they just moved in and no packages have come there that he knows of. Mm-hmm. Mr. Daniels says that he's looking for a TV, and if it isn't found, then all lives will be lost. And Jeff's like, I forgot to brush my teeth, so I gotta go by.
He doesn't hear a damn word.
The fuck?
He doesn't hear a damn word this guy says.
And Mr. Daniels calls him a damn fool.
It's like, okay, hang on. Let me go find this TV set because I don't want nothing to do with this crazy man.
But he doesn't do that.
Yeah, he doesn't. You damn fool. Mr. Daniels loves calling people fools. But I swear he's really bad at doing what he does. Like, we'll talk about it as we go. I don't know. He's not.
I'm going to have to agree
For
with
someone
you.
who literally stops the movie here later to explain the rules, he literally is very, very a bumble. He's a bumble butt. This is a
It's because he's
word.
from Texas.
Oh my God. He is from Texas. I forgot.
He's like, I drove here for 3 days.
See, that's what I mean. Like, why? Okay, never mind. We're not going to go into.
I want to know.
What do you want?
I want to know why it took him 3 months to drive there.
Oh yeah, it's 3 months.
Like 3 months to like realize where this TV went. Did they not track packages back then or something?
I don't know. Oh God. Now Jeff here is played by Rocky Duvall, who actually owns a dance studio now. You know, keep in mind though, Rocky was 16 and still in high school when he got this part and did this movie. Mm-hmm. He got it when his high school drama teacher took the class out to try out and audition for this movie. Which,
nice.
Really strange. I wish our high school drama teacher did that. That would have been awesome. Hey, let's try out for a horror movie. But his drama teacher told him that he wasn't right for the part, but was shocked when Rocky got it.
He's not right for it. But
High school drama teachers can be assholes, man.
Teachers can be assholes.
Like, I don't get it. And that stereotype is true, though. They're always like these. It's like they wanted to be a really high art cinema snob or something, but they didn't quite make it or something.
Right.
You know, because they're always explaining.
Oh my God.
Because I remember.
Oh my God. I just got a flashback.
Okay.
Or just had an idea. Or not idea.
Okay.
A thought. Words are hard. That's why, Jessica. Why did I whisper into the microphone like that?
I don't know. Nobody knows who that is.
Became a teacher because she wanted to do hair so bad, but she's not good at it. So she's going to teach now. Anyway.
And not hating on all drama teachers. You know, I had a few that were pretty cool, but for the most part, they were always just stuck on high art films and not wanting to just all by the rules. And I hate it. But anyway.
Anyway, did I take drama?
I don't know. In high school, it was required for us.
I don't think.
No, it wasn't. What am I talking about? It was one of my electives. I took drama every year.
I didn't take drama. I took poetry.
Except, of course, in true Lee fashion. I didn't even fit in with the drama kids.
Because you weird.
I was really weird. I didn't fit in with any clique, you guys. Huh?
Was.
I just got weirder as I aged. I aged like a weird fine wine.
It's kind of sour.
He's a little sour, a little weird. Doesn't really quite taste like wine. Might be Mad Dog 2020.
No,
Who knows?
I know what it is.
What's that?
It's toilet hooch.
Toilet hooch.
It being you.
I'm the toilet hooch of cinema fans.
If you get caught by the cops,
it's over.
you're getting dumped.
Yeah. I could make you blind.
Oh shit!
I could make you go blind.
Anyway,
back to the movie.
So in the attic is the TV, and Jeff can hear it, and he goes looking for it. There's a woman on the TV, and she asks Jeff to make love to her.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeff doesn't see that though.
No.
But he takes the TV out, puts it in his room, but ends up leaving to do chores with Zoe.
And by the way, like the biggest prop in this movie is the TV set. Like it does some cool ass shit. You know, you got the fog coming out of it.
Cool,
it bubbles.
Cool shit.
Well, it does. I love it. You gotta love an old.
It's a little scary.
Well, you gotta love an old tube set, man. And it's nice watching this movie because I'm like, man, I remember those old fucking hunky pieces of shit where it wasn't like the TVs we have now, where you could find some place to put a TV. Like it's not hard anymore.
Right.
But like those things, you were like plotting out where to put it, making sure that whatever you're putting it on, it could hold the weight. I remember the family TV was a 32-inch TV, and that was huge at the time. Like
that's what she said.
Yeah. It was big and black. Anyway,
Whoa.
But it was a fancy TV, you know, wood paneling and everything, and had the little media drawers, you know.
Nice.
But anyway, So like I remember that thing being such a big ass thing, and like if you had to move it, it wasn't an easy chore. You had to get like a dolly and like some lift straps. There.
Oh,
you planned the family living room around the TV. That's what you did. Wherever the TV went, put all the furniture where that is.
Oh my gosh. Did I ever tell you about getting the TV and having to take it up 2 landings?
Oh, fuck.
2 stair landings?
Yeah, because you got one of those old projection TVs.
No. I'm not talking about that TV.
Oh, no?
No, I'm talking about a big ass TV, like bigger than the one that's in this movie.
Oh.
And probably weighed like 150 pounds.
God damn.
Okay, so we get this TV. Don't ask me why my best friend needed this fucking TV, because there were flat screen TVs at this time, okay?
There was a time I was obsessed with tube TVs. I had 2 tube TVs that I would hook up old video game systems to and a VHS player and like watch things on them. Because honestly, by the way, you guys, the best way to watch a VHS tape, if you guys are huge in VHS, and it's fine if you're a collector. Me, myself, I think it's kind of useless. But, you know, if you love VHS, the best way to watch them is to find an old tube TV and hook that the cassette player up to it. Watch it that way.
I agree to that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so we get this TV and it takes up like, let me tell you how big it is. I'm sorry. I had to think about this for a second.
Okay.
We had a toddler bed, a frame that we had gotten at the same time as this TV. And it fit perfectly in the middle where that toddler mattress would have been.
Yeah.
So that's how wide it was. And it was like, it had the big thing in the back. Anyway.
I'm sure if there's any younger people listening, they're probably like, these people are fucking Stone Age motherfuckers.
So my best friend's dad, he carries it from the car to the front door.
And you got to love how some of those old ones had handles on them. Like that was going to help.
It did not.
Well, some of them had handles. Like, right. And it's just like, that's not helping.
No. So it did not have handles. And he carries it in. He's like, I'm going to have a fucking heart attack. I'm leaving it here.
Someone almost died bringing a TV.
Yes. So we were like, oh, cool. This is going to go in the front room. This is going to go in the living room. No. Her mom wanted it upstairs.
Oh,
and this is one of those houses that has like 6 stairs,
one
a landing,
then it turns
and
into
then has
a
6 more
then,
stairs.
Yeah.
And then she wanted it all the way down the hall too.
Oh.
So we didn't have a dolly, obviously, because he carried the fucking TV. And he's like, I'm not fucking moving it.
Mm-mm.
So we get a blanket, a comforter. We put the TV screen down because we're dumb. We did not break the TV though. We put the TV screen down and we fucking haul that thing up. I'm behind it and I'm fucking pushing it and she's pulling it up the stairs. We get to the landing and we just die. Like, we're just fucking dead.
So let it be a lesson to you guys out there. Be thankful we have the TVs we have now where you can just carry it in under an arm.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it sat there for 2 days before we decided to take it back.
It's another piece of electronic I don't really miss. Like,
a big ass TV.
I do think things have gotten a little better, like with our electronic TV.
I agree. And they're so cheap.
Oh, yeah. Now, we will talk about the woman in this TV later, but I'm sorry. Is this not the cleanest attic you've ever seen? Like,
they just moved in.
Like, I know, but like, I wish there was attics this clean, because every time I've always moved into a place, I never had a finished attic, like with the floors and stuff. It's always the
shit.
Yeah. I've never had one. Like, I would love an attic.
My ex-husband's house was like that.
You
could have made it into a room.
See, that's what I mean. I would love to do that and make some kind of weird ass room, like maybe a screening room. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm fascinated with an attic. What makes this like zombie movie? Because it's ridiculous, man. I mean, already it's silly, but we're having fun so far. That's the main thing about this movie is you're having fun. But what makes it kind of good is that it's competently shot. Like, there's some pretty good shots here with camera work and stuff like that. And they do the best they can, especially since it's, 87, no budget. You're fucking working with probably film students and stuff. But more than that, it's on film. And I don't know what it is about digital, but some straight to horror movies, some straight to video horror movies, or I guess now straight to streaming, low budget horror movies, they just kind of look bad. It has a weird quality to where it looks like a bad porno is happening. Like it looks like they could start fucking at any time. And it's really hard to describe unless you guys watch these things. But there are, because of streaming, there are bad direct to streaming horror movies. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, back in the day with the direct to video horror movies, you could at least find something about them that you enjoyed, you know?
Exactly.
But for some reason, it's just flooded with some of these movies where you're like, you guys just made a movie to make a movie, and this is this is not good. But anyway, I'm not going to hate on filmmakers here.
Yeah,
but,
you are.
Yeah. No, but that goes to show you, though, in a good director's hands, you know, digital can look awesome. I'm not saying digital is like a waste of time or anything,
right?
Because most all films are made with digital now. I mean, it's all digital.
Oh yeah.
I think you got a few holdouts like Quentin Tarantino is still shooting on 35 millimeter.
Oh, nice.
But for the most part, I think these older ones hold up the best. You know, now this one was shot on 16 millimeter, and I'll kind of discuss why that's that actually contributes to the fact that it got released direct to video, and I'll talk about that later on.
Oh, I didn't know. Is that different?
It is. You had 8 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and 32 millimeter, which was the standard. And we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. So Jeff is outside, and a girl named April walking a dog comes up. He invites her inside, and she goes inside with him and takes the dog off the leash. The dog ends up running outside into the woods and happens upon a zombie. Then we get this.
This one made us laugh out loud, the sound.
It's supposed to be a dog yelping.
But they're not going to like kick a dog for the movie or anything, you know?
You could tell it's somebody.
Yes, it is somebody.
It's like, it's like that. I don't know if you could hear me. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, it is obviously a human making this noise. But with April, though, in walks the fucking 1980s.
Yes.
Even the song that comes on is like 80s fart rock, you know? and, you know, in case you guys were wondering when this took place. I love it. Of course, because the way she's dressed, it is out of everyone in the movie.
Yeah.
She is the most 80s. Of course, you also kind of glaze over the fact that the dog, as April states, loves to go out in the woods and try to mate with skunks, which in turn
should have put that in here.
Which in turn gets him sprayed, and then he gets more horny.
They didn't need to put this in
there. So I mean, we're also learning another valuable lesson that skunks don't like to be mated with by dogs. You know,
because we didn't already know that. I'm confused.
Oh man, in that line, the way she delivers it is just so like
it's hilarious.
It's so matter of fact and deadpan that I crack up every time.
And nobody laughs. Like
no one sees. That's what's
Jeff.
great about this movie is nobody sees the humor. The people in the movie don't see the humor.
Right.
So it's like even funnier because it feels like we're in on a joke. Yeah.
Ooh, oh man. It's hilarious. So they you hit your microphone.
I did. I'm sorry. It's like I love this movie.
So the kids go running out of the house looking for the dog. While they're looking, April asks Jeff if he's creeped out by living in the murder house.
Yeah, she fucking just drops this bomb on.
And he's like, I don't know anything about that. So she just doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, whatever.
We gotta find this dog.
So they find this dog and it's dead. So they come up with a lie that the dog swallowed a ball so that April doesn't get in trouble because she's babysitting this dog.
They come up with a plan instead of being like, oh, it was attacked or something like that. Like, because it's not supposed to be off the leash.
Right.
And they come up with a plan. Oh, just say somebody threw the ball and the dog caught it and it accidentally swallowed the ball.
And he was like, and all we have to do is shove the ball down its throat.
Yes. They're like,
what?
And she's okay with it.
She's like, okay.
Yeah, fine. Question is, What were these zombies doing the entire time after Mr. Jordan bites it? Like 3 months? What are they doing this entire time? Did they go out to the woods and party?
I have no idea.
They go out in the woods and party, and then they see Jeff. It's like, oh. All right.
What I don't understand is, okay, I assume that they went back in the TV. Okay, that's what I'm assuming.
See, but like, if
But
you,
then there's one
yeah,
over
they're
there.
still out. They're out. They're all out of the TV by this time.
But they haven't killed anybody?
No, they're just chilling. Like they went and
For
got it.
3 months?
They all went and partied for a while, because you're back. You're in the real world. That's cool. So go out, have a party, drink a few brews and chill with everybody, get to learn everybody's names, and then, come back to the town and kill everybody.
What the fuck?
I guess 3 months, though.
3 months
They
apart.
went on 3 month, 3 month bender. By the way, these zombies are cool, man. Like, for some reason, all these zombies have a personality.
And I start naming them too.
Yes. These woods are really hard to film in, by the way. Now, in California, when you're in the woods most of the time, you're usually on a hill where they were.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all hill lands. So it's kind of hard to get this looking right, to get a straight shot and not be tilted or anything.
Right.
Now, okay, back to the film stuff. Now, they shot on 16 millimeter, and typically people did shoot on 16 millimeter or 8 millimeter and stuff. Then if you wanted to get it distributed in theaters, you would have it blown up to 35 millimeter.
Oh, okay.
Typically, these low budget affairs, ain't nobody shooting on 35. Like, it's very hard to, it was very expensive. I think, wasn't it our Intruder episode that we went through the price of film, like in the rolls and stuff? Yeah. So go back and listen to that episode if you want to learn more about, what you would have to pay at this time to get your movie made. But the main reason these things went right to home video is that you have to use 35 millimeter to get it into theaters. That's just the standard. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So typically to get it seen in a theater, you have 35 millimeter. Well, to save money, cut costs, just shoot on 16 millimeter and put it out on video.
Hell yeah.
A lot easier. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
These were the same woods that are fake film in this film, Zombie Blood Nightmare, is shot. That's on that fake black and white movie.
What?
On our haunted TV, the fake black and white movie, Zombie Blood Nightmare.
I was like, wait, what?
Brittany got lost. I just went met it there for a minute. I was like, the movie within a movie.
Yes,
The dream
I was
within a dream.
confused for a second.
Incepta horror. This thing, again, it was shot on a shoestring budget, as you can tell. They almost got busted at one point out in these woods for not having a filming permit.
Oh.
Because, some places do require you to have a filming permit unless you're a student. So one of the crew members produced his student ID, was like, oh, I'm from like such and such school, and we're just doing a class project. And it got him out of some hot water,
Nice. Lie to the people. Yep. Good job.
Hey, it's called guerrilla filmmaking, man. You got to do what you got to do. We talked on our Maniac episode about how Bill Lustig they would fucking shoot some shit and then get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Like before the cops came.
Just a little bit at a time.
And that's what's wonderful about those old movies. That's it sounded kind of like earlier I was hating on 80s movies. I'm not. I love the 80s horror movies, but like that's why most of those that were like take place in New York look so genuine, is because they were guerrilla filmmaking, shooting on the fly.
Oh, I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, I have a film question.
Ooh, film question.
Dun dun dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
So when they record on film, do they have to record in sequence?
Now, you don't have to. Most people do not record in sequence. Do you remember on Trauma Month, we always talk about how they try to shoot in sequence,
right,
to keep the continuity right?
Right.
Most of the time, you film all your big scenes up front, and then you film the smaller scenes, the cutaway scenes, because also you might run into a certain actor isn't available. Right. You know what I mean? Like your big budget star isn't available, so you want to film all his scenes up front and do like that. That's where you run into continuity problems if you don't have a really good continuity expert.
Like me?
Like you could have, like, I don't even know if they do continuity experts anymore because most of these movies are flawed like a motherfucker.
They need to, because I will do it.
I know.
I will, because I don't need much training.
And what's really funny, it's mostly the rom-coms. that do the
Yes.
continuity errors the
Oh, yeah.
most. And I don't know if it's like the continuity expert is just fucking bored or what. Like,
I don't
because it seems like it's
know.
always like that. Like, next time you guys watch a rom-com movie, check out their drinks anywhere they are.
You didn't even know.
Yes, their drinks. Yeah, because Brittany pointed that out, and I started noticing it more in these romantic comedies.
Mhm.
Their drinks are different levels every fucking time.
Or they'll have the drink in their hand and then they won't have the drink in their hand, and then
Yes.
they'll have it back in their hand.
It's the magic rom-com drink.
But it's not like there's a place to set it down.
no, that's what's hilarious.
Yeah, I caught one the other day. I don't even remember what
Mm.
it was though.
Now we could
But
talk.
anyway.
We could talk about camera speeds and fucking film all goddamn day. There is a whole lot of stuff to know about that, and that is very technical stuff. So if you guys want to learn more, just look that up on your own. YouTube exists. You'll be able to learn all sorts
Or
of stuff.
make Lee tell you about it.
Maybe
not on this podcast.
Maybe I don't. Nah, I don't want
Nah.
to bore people to death. It is very boring.
If
Well,
you
your
have
shutter
questions,
speed, 35 millimeter is due to the.
but if you have questions, hit us up.
But back to our movie.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. We're getting into it.
So later on, Jeff gets a phone book
A phone book, by the way, everybody.
and calls April. She says, the ball story worked.
The ball story worked. Like this worked.
Right. So they found a ball and shoved it. Anyway.
Yeah. I want that scene. Like I want that
Right?
release the ball cut.
But she tells them that it was Jeff.
Yeah, she fucking blames it on him.
He's like, what? You could have said it was some dude down the road. Like when you're walking the fucking dog. Like you didn't have to
I
say it
threw
was
you under
Jeff.
the fucking bus.
Right? But she says she's gonna make it up to him, and he invites her over, and she just says no. She's
Wait,
like, what? She confuses the fuck out of me. Then she tells Jeff before they hang up, she's like, oh, by the way, it's really weird. My dad's sleeping with the maid.
Yeah, wait.
What is happening here?
There is a whole
This girl.
There's a whole fucking subplot where her dad is fucking the maid.
I'm so fucking confused about what is going on.
I don't
here.
know, but it's hilarious. Like, but we get to see honest to God relic, and that's the fucking white pages. Do you remember the white pages when you'd have to look up someone's phone number? You'd go to the phone book, pop those white pages over, and look for their last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, this is how we used to do this before. I don't even think you can look up people's phone numbers anymore. That's like a secret society now. You got to like get initiated and learn somebody's phone number.
Man, I want to find a phone book. and
Crank
look-
calls are hard nowadays.
You know what? I have seen a phone book recently,
They're still making phone
but it was
books?
just yellow pages.
Yeah, see, the yellow pages kind of survived because,
Because
Old
people
people.
still put ads out in
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
pages and stuff. And if you don't know what yellow pages are, it's just like a bunch of
it's businesses. Mostly.
business ads
Yeah,
and stuff.
we had these things called phone books, youngins, that were split into yellow pages. I think there was blue pages for something. I don't know what the fuck that was. Utilities, I think. And then you had the yellow pages was for
the white
business. Yeah.
you didn't say white.
Oh, I didn't
pages.
say the white page. I'm
You said
sorry.
yellow pages.
The
twice.
white pages were residential, and then the yellow pages were businesses.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there like a blue pages for like utilities or some bullshit.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Anyway,
And the
phone
white
books.
pages were actually gray. Like I didn't understand that.
God, the times before the internet, man. You were real desperate. You could roll up one of those white pages and smoke it. Like you didn't have any rolling papers. It's pretty thin.
Ew.
Yeah, we didn't think about that.
I did not do that.
We used to smoke pages out of the Bible though, because we thought we were badass doing
Oh, so badass.
so badass.
Anyway, speaking of smoking some weed, Jeff hooks up the TV in his room and turns it on. He finds the zombie movie and rolls a joint.
By the way, this movie hops like different genre films within it. Like we go comedy, we're horror, we got some stoner comedy here, we got a stoner movie going.
We got some porno coming.
Yeah, we got some porn.
So the TV messes up, and so he gets up and changes the channel. Now there is that blonde woman, and she starts talking to him. Then she's out of the TV. She gets naked, tells Jeff she has been waiting a long time for this moment. Lie. And the camera pans away. Okay, I don't want to say what I wrote here because he is underage. And I feel very inappropriate saying what I think happened, but the camera pans away.
Yeah, and I don't think she like goes down on him or anything because like I don't think that was what they were hinting at. I think they were just making out.
I think they were hinting at that.
Really? Oh God. Oh Lord. Anyway, it's a pretty fast shot, so I don't know. Now, oh shit. I mean, if I was 16
like, yeah.
and this lady was coming at me, yeah,
before
there'd
she
be
even
no-
touched
yeah.
you.
It'd be embarrassing.
It'd be Forrest Gump up in
I'd
this
be like,
bitch.
I'm sorry. Do you want like a glass of water or something? I immediately go into being a good host. Like, would you like something to eat? I can make something to eat. Now, there was a thing in the script explaining who this woman is. In fact, there was a whole section of the script that went into who she was, why she's here, and stuff like that. And I think later on it was supposed to be included in that scene where, because we'll talk about it, but the movie stops dead. So Mr. Daniels can explain the rules. The movie stops dead for a little bit, but it was supposed to be included there, but they ended up cutting it because who cares? Like,
it doesn't fucking
who
matter.
cares? Because it does get explained away later on. Like in that scene where everything stops dead, where he says,
Yeah.
the TV fucks with you. So like, so you're
He doesn't say
yeah.
it like
Well, no, he doesn't. It's not in those words, but like he says the TV fucks with you. So we just assume this is just the TV messing with his head. But,
Yeah.
yeah. So we
I
didn't
didn't need
we don't
any-
need a whole story.
I don't need any more from my zombie
Yeah.
movie.
Now, he was again 16 when this was shot, making out with a naked lady. So I have to think this is probably the best day of his life while making this movie.
I guarantee it. But I don't
Oh,
think he
God.
was probably really making out with her.
Yeah, but all the stuff with the blonde lady was trimmed down, and the motivation was removed. But we do get some boobs here.
Boobs.
I really do think that was the main inclusion.
Boobs.
We get some boobs, sort
Right.
of.
So now we see that she's back in the TV. A man comes up behind her and grabs her and cuts her throat.
Uh-huh.
He says that Jeff doesn't know what he's messing with and he needs to leave it alone. He says that inside of these people, they look different, or they're different on the inside, sorry,
Mhm.
and they have no soul. The man tells him that he is called the garbage man because he gets rid of human garbage. So he tells Jeff that he's in danger and tells him to be careful. And Jeff's like, I don't know what to do. And he
Yeah.
says, lock the TV in a basement, get a mirror, and face it to the screen of the TV. And Jeff goes and flushes all of his weed because he's thinking he's having a bad trip.
And he flushes the baggie too. I didn't understand why the baggie had to go.
Yeah,
but
what did the bag do?
I don't know. But yeah, so this guy is just dropped too. Like he never comes back. We don't.
There's no
Yeah,
explanation.
we don't really. I would have much preferred some more explanation about who this garbage man is. Like,
Oh, I agree.
and was there a sequel? Maybe we'll discuss that later on. But anyway, so while this movie kind of drops who this woman is and the garbage man and whatever, the real woman behind the mysterious TV lady is Jennifer Miro. Now Miro was famous for being the front member of the punk new wave gothic band The Nuns. In fact, her style was extremely important to the punk scene's crossover with goth in the days of early punk in San Francisco. In fact, some people still say The Nuns were the first punk band in San Fran, but that's up for debate. Punk itself is up for debate. Nobody can really lock down who started it, and there's a constant war. It's great. But if you guys aren't familiar with her or the Nuns, do some homework, please.
No.
I'm giving you guys homework. Now, she actually wrote a review for this movie that is on IMDb to this day.
Oh my
I think she gave it 6 stars, and she discusses how when he cut her throat in that scene, the latex and stuff was still stuck in her hair weeks later. She had such a hard time getting the latex out.
Oh no.
Jennifer Miro sadly passed in 2011 from cancer, but I've always thought her blend of horror punk and S&M fashion really make her an icon. So definitely look into her. She's very important.
S&M fashion.
Yeah, man. She crosses over. You'll have to look her up because remember, this is like the 70s and stuff. And the only people you really had doing this around those times was like Black Sabbath and, Alice Cooper and shit like that.
Okay.
Very early, shock rock and like S&M wear was getting into fashion and shit again.
I see what you mean. I
Yeah.
see what you mean. So the next day, Jeff wakes up and realizes this is real. He takes the TV to the basement and the TV starts to smoke for some reason. He gets a mirror and he's trying to tape it to the TV, but a zombie grabs him. He cuts off the zombie's hand, like at the wrist, with a hammer. He just had a hammer. I don't fucking know. And he finally gets the mirror taped on there. But he still has the hand, and the hand is moving.
Yeah.
So he puts it in a paper sack, takes it to the kitchen, puts it in the garbage disposal.
As you would.
I don't think I would.
I don't know what I would do in this situation. I think I would try to burn it, maybe.
I was about to say, I'm burning
But then
it.
again, maybe not quick thinking. I don't know if I'd go straight to garbage disposal. I don't like bones and shit. That might not be good. That can't be good for the works.
No.
Like, you can tell we live in a house because we're like, oh man, that can't be good for the garbage disposal.
We're going to have to replace it.
Yeah, I don't want to tell the landlord about that. It was a zombie hand. What do you want me to do?
What was I supposed to do? So Zoe scares him and tells him that he's acting really weird. He's like, I am really weird.
Yeah, he doesn't let her in on this at all. Like, there's no reason why he wouldn't say anything. Like,
I know, right?
So they missed a great opportunity, though, I think, for those zombies to find the weed. We could have had weed zombies, and I don't think we've ever had high zombies before in a movie. Like, we
That'd
need
be
that.
pretty cool.
We need stoner zombies, I think. But they put a gerbil in this bag, supposedly, to make it move. I don't know how much of that I believe. Because, again, it's one of those IMDb things. But I thought I'd mention it because I'm like, wouldn't they get in trouble for throwing a gerbil in a bag? I don't know. Although this is shoestring budget, they probably could have cut a rat in half and nobody would have cared. But
that's true.
PETA, everybody. Now, originally, they had intended for 14 zombies to spill forth out of this TV, making the number they have to contend with much more daunting. But budgets, as they are with low budget movies, that toned it back to about 5. Now, they all have backstories, and I'll kind of go over a few of them here. The ones that I found out about. But the zombie who looks kind of like a cross between David Bowie and James Dean, as we see later.
Yes.
That's a 1950s athlete who drowned, explaining why he's blue. The bride was a woman who was murdered on her wedding day, of course. Jack, the first zombie we see, was a guy who died in a car wreck. He's all mangled up and kind of burnt. And Ironhead was a serial killer who strangled people, as we will see in a bit, and also find out why I just called him Ironhead.
Oh, there's so many things.
Yes.
So then we see April leave for school, and some zombies go into her house. The bride zombie finds a wig, puts it on.
I love it.
Yes.
Again, I love, because they all have these like little like personalities. Like these zombies, like I said, these are like the zombies you want to hang out with if they were
If they weren't going to eat you.
Yeah, if they weren't going to kill you,
Right. An 80s zombie with the best hair in the whole movie.
Oh man, immaculate haircut, this zombie.
Oh yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. He does nothing but find a picture of April, but it doesn't matter because I just had to mention him. The other zombies are checking out different parts of the house, and the bride zombie finds the blender, and she thinks it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, because the bride and Jack are sitting there laughing together because it scares her at first, and then they giggle about it. I need more interpersonal zombie relationships. I want movies like that. We need more of that.
But they do have movies like that. It was where the zombies fall in love and then they're not
you talking
zombies
about that
anymore.
fucking Warm Bodies movie again?
I never saw that, by the way.
Oh God! You know what? Just to make fun of it, we'll probably end up doing it on here. Maybe we'll do that as like a. You know what? That might be
Valentine's.
Yeah, maybe a Valentine's commentary. So we don't actually have to fucking dive into Warm Bodies.
I hate you.
That movie's
Anyway.
so dumb. Anyway, we're not talking about warm bodies. This is the video dead. Let's go back to that.
So Maria, who's the
Mhm.
maid, she's asleep in bed with the dad. She hears what's going on and goes to check it out. Zombie grabs her and chokes her, and she ends up being able to grab an iron that's on the table and smashes it through his head.
Which is right by a picture of Jesus. And I don't know why I find it hilarious.
Right?
But it's just
And this looks like it's like an entryway table.
yeah, and they just have an iron sitting
I
there.
know. I was like, wait, what? And it's not a plug-in iron?
No. I think it's just one that you sit and
On the
heat up.
stove.
Maybe I don't.
I think you put it on the stove.
Well, it doesn't have a cord, so that's
No.
that.
Anyway, so she dies from being choked, and he just laughs at her, but he doesn't die.
No.
April's dad finally wakes up to zombies in his room, and we get an outside shot of the house and hear him screaming.
Which, by the way, so like when he gets that iron in the head, if you notice, he doesn't really he like reacts after it's all over, like, oh, well, I'm not dead. That's cool. Because and that's what
Whatever.
happens with these zombies. They react to the things that happen to them, like, oh, that happened, but I'm okay.
Right?
Now, supposedly this actress suffered from a sore throat and neck after filming this scene. Which maybe I don't know, but I do think like there are these scenes throughout this movie that freaked me the fuck out when I was younger. Like when he pops out behind her, like that scared the living bejesus out of me when I was little. And I think it's nice to come back and watch these movies when I'm older, because this is not scary at all to me.
No,
It's a fun trip, but it's not scary. And so it's really funny to think back how differently I looked at these movies. Yeah, differently. That I looked at these movies when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot. Like there's scenes in movies that you'll run across like when you were younger that probably disturbed the living shit out of you. But then like when you're older, like that's gone now. And it's just you're viewing things in different eyes. It's wild.
The scary things now are
Life.
moving,
Yeah.
packing.
Well, that's why I turned to
Unpacking.
horror movies for fucking therapy nowadays, because life is more horrifying than a killer doll.
Yes, it's true.
Oh,
So a woman in her house is baking something when a zombie shows up. She doesn't see him at first and then goes to switch the laundry. But when the bride zombie comes in, chokes her and washes her in the washing machine.
and you glazed over another part. This bride zombie is already waiting for her in the in the clothes washer. She just pops up.
Yes.
But then she's out of the washer and then is able to put her in there.
Right. And they're just laughing. They're just laughing.
Yeah,
at
they
her.
do this little like this mischievous chuckle between each other, like.
So then the bride zombie grabs the husband and twists his head all the way around. This is the by far the best kill in this movie.
Oh, it really is. It's great, and it's such a cheap effect. Like it's just a guy in probably like a fucking like they're holding the coat and he's just turning.
Oh,
like, that's
yeah.
all it is. But it looks
Yeah.
so good and it's fun.
Oh, it's hilarious because he's like reading a paper or something.
Yes.
And he's like, dang, when's the last time you showered? Because he thought he was talking to his
Yes.
wife. April walks home and sees what happened
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
and
she
she
oughta.
screams. Jeff hears sirens and runs to April's house.
Which, by the way, because when he gets there, like you see the lights from like maybe an ambulance or whatever outside.
Mm-hmm.
Going on outside the windows and stuff, you see that light. What they did to achieve that, this is how low budget they were working with. They took flashlights and put like red coverings over them and just sat there.
Oh, like
sat there,
cellophane.
yeah, sat there and spun them around.
That's hilarious. Anyway,
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because Brittany just put this what is that thing? What do you call that? It's a penis.
It's a stress ball.
Yeah, it's a stress ball, but it's shaped as a penis with eyes, and she just put it on her forehead. So it's I can't take you seriously. If you were going to say anything seriously, it's over.
I'm not saying anything
Are
seriously.
you taking a picture?
So Jeff tells April that they need to go somewhere
Mm-hmm.
safe. So they go back to Jeff's house because, it's safe there. Whatever.
I'm sure it is, Jeff.
Right?
Sure it is.
So Mr. Daniel shows up again and says that he is their only hope, and
Oh, shit.
and he tells them about the video dead.
Dun, dun, dun. She said it. They said the name.
He says it, and then
He said
she
it.
says it later.
Oh, I love it.
He says,
Take a shot, everybody.
listen very closely to this, okay?
I'm listening.
He says he bought the TV at a yard sale.
Okay.
And Zoe wants to know why he didn't destroy it. And he said he tried. And she doesn't believe him.
Okay.
And April wants them to stop. So she goes to take a bath. He bought the TV at the garage sale.
I missed that little part. My bad, everybody. I missed that little part.
You should write all the notes for this movie.
I'm sorry.
Or these movies.
But I absolutely love the way the zombies react to each other. You know, we just talked about that, but like, just need more.
They're like friends.
I love it.
It's
I love the
hilarious.
zombies in the movie. But you don't see a lot of them eating anybody yet. Like quite yet. I think in fact, I think you only see like one scene of a zombie chowing down on something. Like, and it's not very long either. So so they're just murdering for fun.
Yeah.
Like
They're getting their shits and giggles
and
out.
they're having a good time. I mean, they're playing jokes. They're putting glasses on from their murder victims. They're having a damn good time. I mean, James Dean zombie, I think, is the one that gets to eat somebody later on, but still.
The 80s zombie?
Yeah, Bowie Dean zombie, the cross.
Bowie Dean.
Because he's like a cross between David Bowie and James Dean, because you could tell they were going for that 50s, jock guy. But like, he just comes off as David Bowie because he has an 80s hairstyle. And I don't know if this is true, but I feel like that actor was like, I'm not changing my hair. It took me all day to get my hair to look like this. But anyway. And that's another thing. Like, the zombies in this movie, like, they really do take time to make them all unique. Like, I think that's something we should stress a little bit. Like, the makeup is different with each one and stuff like that. You know, like, it's just really cool and they go into detail too. Like, if you really sit there and notice the zombies, they all have their own little details. Like James Dean zombie, he's got himself a pack of cigarettes in his shirt. Like, yeah.
And the bride zombie looks like a dog.
She does kind of look like a dog.
With those
and we're not
cheeks.
we're not insulting her. She's dead, but
no, it's whatever fucking
she
prosthetics
has
that they
jowls.
have.
She has jowls. Yeah,
it just looks so weird.
Yeah,
it's so bad. It's so bad.
I love it.
Anyway, so April brushes her teeth before her bath, and she starts brushing so hard it's making her mouth bleed.
This movie has a weird spitting fetish. Like, there's a lot of spitting in this movie. I don't know if you noticed that, but like at the beginning, one of the movers hawks some fucking
hawks a loogie on the ground.
Yeah, it's like chewing tobacco, because he offers him a cigarette and he's like, "No thanks, I chew," and he just spits on the ground.
Yeah, that's so rude.
And then we get this spitting scene where she spits the blood into the sink, and then later on he's spitting on a leaf. Like, like, what is going on?
They're spitting on a leaf?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I'll point it out again later. But
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Ugh, yeah. So the 80s zombie with good hair comes, is in the bathroom with her, and she faints. So Zoe tells Jeff that Mr. Daniels needs to leave. She then sees the zombie taking April outside, and she doesn't do anything but shut the door. Like, she doesn't try to stop this thing.
And I know you feel like it's rude that what she just did, but I think it's the most realistic thing people in a horror movie have ever done. It's like, well, that's the end of her chapter. I'm shutting this fucking door.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm shutting this fucking door.
So she tells Jeff, and Jeff wants to go get April, but Mr. Daniel says no. He sets to start getting all the mirrors in the house, and they tape them all to the front door. Zoe says they need to call the police, and Mr. Daniels just laughs at her.
Which is funny how they get around this, because in a movie these days, like, there's always that part in these scary movies where it's like, oh, we got to call the police. And then, they pull out their cell phones. We got no reception. That's how they get around it nowadays.
Right.
But like back then you had landlines. Like there was never like lack of reception. So usually like like in this movie, they have to explain it away by saying, well, who's going to believe you basically is what they go with.
Right. So Mr. Daniels tells them that there's 2 ways to kill these things. Lock them in a room by themselves that they can't get out of, and they will eat themselves. Or by attacking them like you would the living with guns, knives, or anything. He says they cannot be buried, but they have to be left to be reclaimed by Mother Nature.
Which, by the way, like, I don't know if this works later. As we're going to come to find out.
I was thinking the same thing. Some of their points that they make in this movie totally die after they make the point.
They fucking die down. It's like we're really following Mr. Daniels here.
Yeah.
We're really following him. He seems to know what he's talking about, even though his shirt looks like it's about to rip open. They got a shirt like way too small for this actor, man.
It's true.
This thing is screaming on its last button. But anyway, but yeah, like once we get to the woods and they actually start fighting the zombies here later, like it kind of just seems like they're going, like they're just flying by the seat of their pants. Like,
yes.
I don't think Mr. Daniels really knew how to fight these things. I think he may have gotten lucky, like with the ones he fought before.
Oh my gosh. And there's another point I'll make in a little bit. But like the points that they make in this movie are fucking stupid.
You gotta love how the movie stops completely dead for this.
Oh yeah,
for these few minutes to explain the rules, and this was intentional, obviously, because if you go back, like I said, this movie was influenced by like the 70s movies. But it was also influenced by genuine like 50s monster flicks, which I love the old monster flicks and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
That. And you always had this thing happen in those monster flicks where like the scientist or the guy who knew everything just stopped the movie dead to explain what's going on and how to stop it. They always had this little segment and usually occurred right in the middle of the movie. And then we'd go on to the next half, which is like nonstop action.
Right. I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't bother me.
Yeah, and you got to have somebody read the rule book,
Right. We got to know what to do here.
Yeah.
So they're all asleep in the living room when Zoe wakes up because she hears something. She looks up and sees a zombie eating her hand. This was actually just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, again, we got some fucking Freddy Krueger shit going on here with nightmares,
Right.
I mean,
oh, yeah, because she like wakes up and she looks and she's like, oh, it's just dream.
Yeah.
But she sees Mr. Daniels packing a bag, and Jeff and Mr. Daniels are going to go take care of things. Mr. Daniels gives Zoe the keys to his truck and says if they are not back by sundown to get the hell out of there.
So here is where our movie goes from zombie flick to buddy comedy with Mr. Daniels and Jeff. It's the Mr. Daniels and Jeff show for like a good while here.
Right.
But what I love about this scene, though, is because we get this whole thing where Jeff is sitting here telling Zoe, it's going to be okay. We're going to stop him and everything's going to be fine. And he gives her a little reassurance and she's a little bit okay. And then Mr. Daniels comes up. It's just like, okay, here's the car. Here's the keys to the truck. If we ain't back by sundown, we dead. It's like, oh, shit.
Right.
Well, there goes all that fucking reassurance.
We're about to be fucked. So Jeff and Mr. Daniels are walking through the woods. They walk for a while and Jeff has to go pee. When he does this, he sees a zombie walking towards them.
Uh-huh.
He runs and gets his bow and arrow, and Mr. Daniels, sorry. Jeff misses a few of his first shots, but finally takes out the zombie. Just knocks him down, really.
Yeah.
He isn't dead. So
like somebody try getting the head off these things. Like we do get a head missing later, but that still doesn't kill him. So that's what I mean by like, I think we're just flying by the seat of our pants.
I think so. So he isn't dead. So Mr. Daniels pulls out a little chainsaw and he's going to finish him off.
Yeah.
Jeff gets excited because he says Texas Chainsaw is his favorite movie.
He's seen it 6 times.
And he wants to use the chainsaw to kill the zombie himself.
Which, by the way, I know 6 times isn't that much, but it was that much back then because you would,
You didn't have DVDs.
Yeah, you didn't have
and stuff
DVDs
like that.
and it wasn't immediately accessible. So, yeah, this guy was obsessed if you're seeing it 6 times. It's funny how we take that for granted nowadays. It's like saying I've seen a movie 100 times really isn't that big of a feat anymore.
Right.
But the original intended effect here was for them to saw this zombie in half and the lower portion would get up and run off as a gag. There's a little funny gag there. They kind of do something similar in Return of the Living Dead Part 2, I believe. But anyway, it looks so bad that they cut it out. Now, this film does have a nice balance of gore and mayhem. There's some nice gore in this movie. There's some blood. But it wasn't like that at first. Like, this movie was lacking blood and gore. So when they finished it, the distributor, I believe Manson Films, didn't, by the way, what a name for your company. But they didn't like the lack of blood. So they gave the crew more money to add gore, which is something you'll never hear these days. Yeah, you won't hear that these days, is the distributor forking over more cash for you to add gore to your movie.
That's hilarious. Wow, that's shocking to me.
I know, right?
I'm surprised.
The old days, man.
So they make it to this cabin thing that they're looking for. And Mr. Daniels goes into the cabin to check it out. And he finds April in there dead. Jeff walks up to the cabin and wants to know what they're going to do. And Mr. Daniels tells him that they are going to set a trap. And if Jeff wants to know what they're... Jeff wants to know what they're using for bait.
and can we talk about the bells that Mr. Daniel pulls out?
So they have
bells.
Okay, so they have bells and a bear trap.
We get into magic territory because these bells, they're not set up it's not strung up to where if they get tripped they dingle. No, right. He's just oh yeah, when they're around these bells go off.
They dingle.
They dingle.
Jingle.
Dingle dangle. I don't know.
I think it's jingle.
Jingle jangle? Is it jingle jangle?
I think it's...
You don't say dingle?
I think it's jingle bells.
It's not dingle bells?
I don't think so.
Dingle bell, dingle bell rock.
I don't think I'm ever going to forget that. That's weird.
Dingles. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah, but they start jingling, by themselves when the zombies are around.
What the fuck?
We only get one scene of it, so it's not
they make a point and then they don't go through with it.
Yes, they just drop it. It's so good.
So then we see Jeff hanging from a tree by a rope. Not hanging. He's alive.
Yeah, which the funny thing about this whole scene is how did they get him up there?
But he's the bait for the zombies. And he says this is not going to work. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Daniels says he's going to wait in the cabin and shoot them with the bow and arrow. And Jeff wants the chainsaw so that he can fight them off when they come up to him.
Which, now, I love a good chainsaw scene in a movie, and we do get some pretty awesome chainsaw action here in a little bit. But I love the idea of a chainsaw, but in reality, a chainsaw is not that useful of a weapon in an actual fight.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever actually handled a chainsaw, they are heavy, and the chain can slip, and then it's just useless. You just got a big old heavy pokey thing. It doesn't even poke. They're not sharp.
Right.
Plus sawing through bone and flesh is not a fast job because sawing through a log is not a fast job. But it just always cracks me up of horror's obsession with chainsaws.
And
man.
Why is this chainsaw so tiny?
Well, they're all like that. I mean, the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, his chainsaw wasn't any bigger than this.
I don't know. It just seemed really small.
Well, that, and you don't have Gunnar Hansen behind this fucker, lifting it up in the air and swinging it around with one hand. So it's less opposing in this movie than it is in that movie.
And he just pulls it out of nowhere. I don't even remember where he had a bag.
He has a duffel bag, but this thing is a magic duffel bag because he has those. He has the bells. He has a shotgun. He has fucking the bow and arrow. I think comes from that bag earlier in the movie.
I want to know about.
Okay,
no, we'll get to that. I'll ask that question in a second.
And first of all, shooting a bow and arrow is not this easy, you guys.
Right.
takes some skill to really hit anything with one of those. So
Oh my goodness. So Jeff is just hanging out.
I see what you did there.
And the bells that they hung around start to ring.
You mean dingle? I'm sorry.
Then the zombies come, and Jeff is yelling for Mr. Daniels, but he isn't answering.
Yeah, this fucker fell asleep.
I mean, it's boring.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
Zombie hunting is boring. Jeff starts the chainsaw, and Mr. Daniels finally wakes up. And he's shooting the zombies with the arrows. By the way, why didn't he have the shotgun?
The shotgun he set up for a trap that
Oh,
just shoots
that's
one
right.
zombie in the thigh, and the zombie just keeps walking.
You're right. You're right.
Doesn't really do much.
But he still could have had the shotgun. Like he couldn't. He didn't have to do that.
Well, okay, I'll give it to Mr. Daniels here. You can't just. I mean, you got this kid hanging from a tree. You can't just fire a fucking shotgun into the middle of all this.
Okay.
Just kill this dude.
Don't use your logic on me.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now.
So I see the point of not really handling the shotgun in that situation.
I guess.
I mean, Mr. Dan, you came from Texas. Why didn't you have more guns? See, that's what I mean, like an assault rifle or something. Like that's the unrealistic part. This man from Texas didn't at least have a sidearm.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
This is what it's come to in life. I'm pointing out the unrealistic qualities of the Texan in the video dead.
So Jeff ends up dropping the chainsaw, and the zombie bride ends up picking it up and trying to cut him with it. But Mr. Daniels comes out with a mirror and scares her off. And she ends up taking off with the chainsaw.
Which I love. Just the image of a zombie with a chainsaw is just so much fun.
It's pretty hilarious. Yeah. So they're looking for April in the woods again. Even though Mr. Daniels knows that she's dead in the cabin.
Now, this is a weird point. Like, because he saw her dead there, and I could understand him not telling Jeff that he saw her.
Yeah.
Because maybe trying to keep him chill.
I guess.
I don't know.
So this is, okay. This is my theory from earlier. Okay. This makes me think that Mr. Daniels is actually a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know when he cuts that guy cuts that lady's throat in the TV?
Yeah.
And he says that they're disguised as
Oh, you were thinking a little meta here, like maybe Mr. Daniels is from the TV?
Yes, that Mr. Daniels from the TV, and he's just disguised as a human.
Interesting.
And that he has like ill intentions. And then that doesn't happen, so whatever.
Well, see, I think he's just kind of like not that smart as he puts on to be, because to me, Mr. Daniels has fought that. I think he's exactly who he says he is, because you see Jeff find a picture of a lady in his magic duffel bag, a picture of a lady. So I'm assuming that's probably Mr. Daniels' wife or somebody that was close to him when he first unleashed the zombies wherever in Texas he was, which first of all, judging by his zombie killing techniques here, I'm guessing there's some zombies in Texas we need to take care of as well. But no, so I'm assuming maybe they killed his wife, and so maybe, just maybe, none of this is in the movie, you guys.
Right.
But they killed his wife, and so maybe he doesn't quite want to show Jeff his girl, his crush has been murdered by zombies, so save him the pain of seeing that or something like that. I don't know, but it made me think that he was the bad guy, and I get your point too, though. It's an interesting take.
So as they're walking they find the chainsaw just laying on the ground. And it's running. The zombie bride ends up coming up behind Mr. Daniels and stabbing him with an arrow.
Yes, the zombie bride set up a trap. Like, these zombies are great.
They're so smart.
They're great.
Then she picks up the chainsaw and chases Jeff with it.
With a lovely chase scene. Although Jeff needs to really get some cardio going, because he is not having a good time running through this forest. He is trying to lift his knees. I'll give him that. But
he spent a few too many years in front of the TV.
I think so. Smoking weed,
and masturbating.
cardio, you guys.
So Jeff is running through the woods and he ends up getting caught in his own fucking bear trap.
Which every time, man, every time someone sets a fucking bear trap in a movie, you can guarantee one of the good guys is going to get caught in it. Like, it just happens so many fucking times.
Don't fucking set a bear trap.
Bear traps are bad weapons. I'm just saying.
And by the way, why is he not screaming?
I don't know, man. Although it wasn't a toothed bear trap. So I could see where, but that thing's going to snap your ankle.
It's going to fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to fucking hurt.
Yeah, because when he gets it, he's like, oh, ow.
Right. I'd be screaming bloody murder. So he goes in the shed to hide and sees April's dead. So he grabs a machete. Oh, by the way, they have a fucking machete.
Yeah, which I think is a much better weapon.
I agree.
Like, you do have a little bit of a reach with a machete. Now, of course, you guys kind of fucked up and let the bride get the chainsaw. And we'll get to why that's important here in a minute. But go around chopping the heads off. Right?
I have no fucking clue. So he grabs the machete, cuts off Zombie Bride's head, and she chainsaws him in the stomach.
Yes.
At the same time. And his last word is April.
Which I love it. Like, this scene is a glorious chainsaw scene. And in fact, I think one of the horror websites rated it one of the top chainsaw scenes in horror movies, because it's great. It's a great effect. It plunges through his stomach. You see it coming out his back and shit. It's so great.
And you don't see it coming.
No,
I didn't see it coming.
Well, no, because, and that's the thing. What a weird way to kill off our heroes.
Right.
They get done in by their own weapons, first of all. They don't. Yeah, they don't get eaten or anything. They just get fucked up by their own shit. And they don't do that often, but here they do, and I think it's because they drew more influence off of a George A. Romero flick. In his zombies movies, it was up in the air who lived or died by the end of the thing.
Right.
So, like, killing off your main hero here is kind of a shock, because then you're kind of left with Zoe at home with the mirrors, and you're like, well, what the fuck now?
Right.
Like, oh shit.
So now we see the zombie that Jeff had cut in half earlier with the chainsaw, and it's walking on its hands.
Which is another awesome effect.
Since he doesn't have any legs. And we see the zombie bride's head still snarling. And the half zombie goes in and wakes up the other zombies.
I love it because, like, he's like coming around. He's like, okay, I gotta get my friends up.
Right. Wake up, motherfucker. It's time.
We gotta go kill some people. Come on, man. Ain't no partying.
And like Mr. Daniel said, like, you just leave them there and then they'll go back to Earth.
Apparently not.
Mother Nature.
That's why I'm saying in Texas somewhere. There's a bunch of zombie parts running around.
So Zoe's still at the house and she sees that the sun is going down. So she goes to get help. Well, she writes a note that she's going to go get help. But when she looks back outside, she sees the zombie with the iron in his head. So she tries to call 911, but they pull the phone lines.
Smart ass zombies, dude.
Right.
Cutting off the communication. They're doing their job.
Right. And they're trying to get in the front door, but can't because of the mirrors.
And she looks out and she sees Ironhead in this fucking truck. And he's sitting there like a little 3-year-old, like
turning the wheel. Right.
He's having the time of his goddamn life.
So she remembers what Mr. Daniels had told her about showing fear to the zombies. Apparently, you're not supposed to show any fear.
Which, by the way, was an actual genius thing that the sound designer did for this. The editor, he cut that sound of Mr. Daniels explaining that over the scene because it wasn't in the finished product. So he's like, well, nobody knows what the fuck she's doing. Nobody remembers that whole explanation earlier. So he cut that sound in, which I think is great because it's not pandering too much or anything, and it doesn't annoy you, but it's like, oh yeah, he did say that because we just saw them fuck up in the woods.
So now you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So she goes out the front door and invites them in and serves them food. By the way, everything that Zoe makes in this movie is just beans out of a can.
It's just out of a fucking can. And I love it because she's telling the zombies, it's been in my family for generations, this recipe.
But they did just move into the house.
And could you do this? Could you look zombies and be non-fearful?
Fuck yeah.
I think at this point in my life, after all the zombie movies I've seen, I don't think I'd get shocked. I think that's That is the last thing I'll be shocked at if it turns out it's true, is zombies. I don't think I'll be that shocked. I think it'll be like, oh, all right, well, I don't want to use a chainsaw. Let's see what we got here.
Well, you gotta see, there's so many different ways to kill zombies, right?
Yes.
In so many different zombie movies.
Yeah,
so you got to figure out how to kill them.
Yeah. And most of them stick with the old classic tried and true method of just getting the head off the body or destroying the head at some point. But this one doesn't stick to that. Like, I feel like you could probably crush one of their heads and it's still alive.
I mean, it happened.
Yes.
Earlier with the iron.
Yeah. Now, if you notice, the zombie, who we kind of know as Jack, mostly because I said it. They
do not say that.
No, they don't. He looks a bit different than he did throughout most of the movie. You know, he looks a little different. That's because the actor playing him became ill. And Michael St. Michael's bullshit artist, the Greasy Strangler, had to finish the film for him. Now, Robert Scott, who directed this, said Jack Stillman, who played this zombie in the first part of the movie, would go so method that he would just spend the time glaring at his cast members between shooting, which cracks me the fuck up that someone loved this so much that they went method acting for the video dead, and bless him. Like, just
he's like, this is the only movie I'm ever going to be in.
Yes, it's just so good. And that's one of the things that I think makes this movie really great. It's because you can tell they fucking loved it. Like, they loved making this. It was a good movie to make. And
sure.
Well, you know, we talked about that when, like, the cast and crew all get along and they have a good time making this movie. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you don't have much hardships, you know.
Right.
You can tell because it comes across on screen. Like, this movie has a huge sense of humor to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and I love that. I love when movies like this have a sense of humor.
And I'm in on the joke. I like those too.
Yes.
So a little bit later, Zoe remembers that Mr. Daniels told them that to lock them in a place that they couldn't get out of. So she remembers the basement. She goes to get them into the basement by telling them that they can dance down there.
Yeah, because they're looking at this book with Fred Astaire and stuff dancing, and they're like,
"Oh yeah."
She's
like, "Oh, you want to dance? We can go down there and dance." So they go down. And she goes to go back up the stairs. She's like, "Oh, I left the records upstairs." Well, they find a record as she's going up the stairs, and they're like, "Wait, no, there's one right here." Yeah, one of the
zombies calls her out.
Right? And of course, she trips because, you know, bitches always be tripping.
And I love how she trips because it's a purposeful move. Like, she just sticks her toe on the edge of the step and kind of like leans forward.
She finally makes it up and she shuts the door. And the door has a mirror on the inside, so they can't get back through the door.
Yeah.
The zombies quickly start eating each other.
Which I do like the effects here. Like, we close in on Ironhead and his cheeks start like expanding, like they start blowing up, which, by the way, they achieved by blowing air through condoms placed on his prosthetics. Which, you know, condoms are multi-use items in movies. We talked about in Alien how they use shredded condoms.
We have to talk about safety.
Safety, safety thing. You know. So there were condoms on the set.
But why are they so quickly eating each other?
I don't really know. They don't really explain that. Right. Like, they don't really go into it, but he does say, you know, they'll eat each other.
Right. But, like, wouldn't it, like, take a couple...
Yeah, because they go immediately. Like, they're just like, fuck this.
Right.
About the om-nom on you, man.
Like, they went 3 months without eating anything.
And they were friends earlier. Like, I don't understand. Damn.
I don't know. Then we see everything in the basement is back to normal, and the movie on the TV says the end.
Yes.
So the movie's just fucking over? I don't fucking know. Not this movie. The movie on the TV.
Yeah.
So it's morning now, and Zoe is still freaked out, but cautiously goes outside. Then we see that she's in the hospital.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming the mental hospital.
Yes.
Her parents go to visit her, and the mom tells the dad that they need to treat her like she's well. So they go in. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious to me. They go in, and the dad's like, Oh no, the mom says, "How did you sleep?" And she doesn't answer. And the dad's like, "I slept like a ton of rocks."
It's just like,
What?
thanks, Dad.
Right.
God damn it.
I'm fucking freaked the fuck out, bitch.
I
Like,
slept so good last night. I know my son's dead. And a Texan, you say? A Texan died with him. Okay. Took him out in the woods and now he's dead.
you're in the mental institution. We don't have a house anymore. What the fuck?
Oh, Jesus.
So they only talk to her for like a second.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, we brought you a surprise." And the fucking orderly wheels in the TV from the house.
It's not over yet.
Is there another one of these?
No. Okay, so a sequel was written for the film, but it never really materialized. Never got off the ground. But
What a shock.
I don't know if we need a sequel to this, but it had to do with victims getting drawn into the television set rather than the zombies coming out. So they would be pulled into their world, which is an interesting idea. Director Robert Scott wanted a lot more zombies if there was going to be a sequel, like a ton of zombies. But the problem was he was offered the same budget to make the sequel.
Oh,
and
wow.
he didn't want to do that. So he declined. And, a sequel has yet to arise. Maybe one day. Who knows,
Who knows?
I think it's fine just to leave this as a nice little standalone. But so the Video Dead enjoyed the shelves of the video store for a long time. But when the last of them closed, this film was kind of lost for a long time until like about 2009. I think MGM put it out on DVD. For a little bit. Like it's one of those ones that went out of print. DVD. Bow, 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 bow.
Anyway.
If you guys, I'm sure we've done that so many times that people are like, what are they talking about? Like there was those intros on the DVDs back in the day where it's like it was on all of them. Because you had two things on those old DVDs. You had the anti-piracy ones. Would you steal a car? No. Pirating is wrong. And then you'd have the one where he was explaining what DVD was, where it's like, coming soon to DVD. Crystal clear audio. It's just like,
It's so funny.
oh, those fucking things. But anyway. So that's what we're making reference to when we do that. But but this thing was kept alive through fans' memories. It became a cult hit. So while I did kind of throw some shade, it is wonderful that we do have labels digging up and lovingly restoring these lesser known movies, so old fans and new fans can rediscover them. The Video Dead is a nice palate cleanser from the usual zombie flick too, as you can hear us talking, it's a good time.
Oh yeah.
You can tell it was a movie for horror fans by horror fans, with all the influences just wearing it on its sleeve. And actually the above average makeup, I gotta say, for such a low budget, it decent. Like,
I don't know
it's
if
not
I agree
award
with
winning, but I mean they do have some nice prosthetics. I think they do. See, you're judging it on all the other zombie movies, and that's not
true.
fair.
That's true.
But it's a nice little surprise. I love when zombie movies get fucking weird. They don't do the normal shit. They just get weird. And I'm a diehard Romero fan, and I consider his movies to be the ultimate zombie flicks. But if you need a break from the serious tone and the satirical elements of the usual zombie movie, The Video Dead is a good choice. So enough from me, though. What did you think about 1987's The Video Dead?
I really liked it.
Yeah, it's just fun.
I love a good wholesome zombie movie.
See, and that's your bread and butter there, is you
Yes.
love the slashers and the zombie flicks. I think
Yes.
those are your main ones that you love. And Brittany always gets very excited when we're going to do a zombie movie. She's like, oh, good. I know this.
Right.
This is going to be good. And there's something about these movies, in 80s movies in general, like there's something about them that does feel like homely, but probably because most of people our age and stuff, well, not you, we wouldn't have a show, but like grew up with these things. You know, most of the time that was the ones you would see is the 80s films. So I think that's why people in my age range really do gravitate towards all this stuff.
My age range.
Yeah, but branch out, see some other genres and stuff. Don't just stick to the 80s things. But anyway,
no, I really, really liked it. I thought it was funny. It's not scary, you know, it's not.
Yeah.
We saw boobs.
Yeah.
We saw classic 80s everything.
Oh, man, 80s.
Everything.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, the woman that makes the recipe that gets washed in the washer, I thought it was really funny that her recipe was coming from the radio station.
Oh, man, right?
And she was like, the coconut? What about the coconut? They didn't say anything about the coconut.
And they didn't. They just cut. Well, that's the recipe for today. It's like, wait.
I need more. Okay,
Oh,
like if I'm doing a
which I love
recipe,
it.
I need more.
Yes. Which, by the way, was probably more efficient than how we get recipes now on these fucking websites that don't want to tell you the ingredients until the very end.
Jesus, yes.
And every one of these fucking recipe websites are always fucking sitting there like explaining the story behind the recipe, and I'm like, I don't need to know that your mom cooked this when you were little and you lived in a 4-bedroom house and this is what staved off the winter cold or some bullshit. It's like just ingredients, how to cook it. That's all I need. I don't need anything else.
Exactly.
Ingredients first. List all the ingredients up there at the top so I know what to fucking get. So I'm not going cycling through trying to figure out. But anyway, recipes aside. So you like this.
I did.
You like this. Well, you're going to love next week's movie,
I
which,
don't
by the way,
believe
you know, up at the top of the hour, we didn't even introduce who requested this. Yes,
You fired.
we didn't. I am fired out of a cannon.
For a trauma movie.
This was a Trucker Jerry request, by the way.
Trucker Jerry.
Yeah, long-term listener, Trucker Jerry, one of our rabid fans. like I'm surprised that our show has fans, let alone like hardcore fans. But yeah, this is a Trucker Jerry request. Now next week you're gonna love it even more because we're not leaving zombie territory and we're staying with zombies, but we're getting a little more punk rock because next week we're going into Return of the Living Dead. That's right, the kind of sequel to Night of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're getting to it.
Okay.
Are you excited about this one?
I don't
think you know much about this one.
Okay, I have to confess something to
Okay,
you.
confess something.
I don't remember the Night of the Living Dead or whichever one you said.
The Night of the Living Dead was the George A. Romero one, the black and white movie we watched a long time ago. Boy, I think that was episode like 50 or 60.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't remember.
We're in 105 movies.
Oh
We're about
my
to watch
jeez.
105 movies. But
and my brain is rejecting them.
I know for sure if you enjoyed the Video Dead, you're going to love Return of the Living Dead.
Okay, I
It's
believe
even better than this, and it's lovely. And it has Linnea Quigley, and she gets butt-ass naked in it. It's just
Oh, that's nice.
dances on a grave. Her
Nice.
character's name is Trash. It's fucking... It's
Okay.
gonna be great. But anyway, until next time, when the dead come back to life again, and people actually know how to kill them in this next movie. I'm Lee Evans saying, stay spooky.
And I'm Brittany. Stay horrific.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. To get a hold of us and submit your stories, fan mail, and death threats, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and nightofthehorrorfile.com. Our theme song was written and performed by John Brennan, used with permission. Find John at shopjb.bandcamp.com and at badtechno.com. If you like what you hear, leave a good review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share the show on your social media. See you next week.